Hello everyone, my dear students. We continue our lessons. The course is Object-Oriented Programming with Python. However, the ideas of OOP are the same, just different languages. They implement those concepts slightly differently. And if you grasp the concepts, OOP concepts once, then I think you can apply them to whatever language you use right now. So talking about OOP, it is very common to emphasize three concepts, three big ideas: encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism. But I think OOP is bigger than that, so it's kind of too simple to let's say reduce the whole variety of OOP concepts, ideas, techniques just to those three. However, because they covered almost in any book, of course, I'm going to also review quickly encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. Um, so, last lesson we covered static members of the class, members shared by all the objects. And what we did, we introduced for each dimension minimum, maximum as static variables. So this way we definitely improved um, the robustness of the class, because now we can validate the dimensions. We can make sure they always within safe limits. They won't get out of the screen the dimensions of our rectangles. However, you may see here in my coding, I can still, if I'm not aware about the class, I may damage my rectangle inadvertently, and I can put weird values into my rectangle dimensions because yes, constructor is validating. So let me remind you what happens in the constructor lines 15 to 28. We do validate, but you can still directly access the instance variables, and you can put wrong values. So the idea is very simple. The idea of the encapsulation is very simple. We hide data or instance variables. Look at this picture. And we do not allow the users of the class to access them directly. In order to access data, you or developers, the class developers, provide special methods. Because method is smart, it can always validate, check, and we sometimes call those methods to access data inside the class: getter to read instance variables, and setter to change the instance variables. So that's the simple idea of the encapsulation. That's why the term into capsule, into the shell, keep data safe, and what of course I'm going to show you now how those getters and setters can be implemented to make your class safer. But one important thing I would like to say, obviously, those big concepts we are talking about, please do not treat them as iron-made rules. It's a recommendations. It's just a good, let's say, programming habits, but real life always create for you, for developers, something unique, something unexpected, something you have to address in your coding. And very often we have exceptions. Any rule may have exceptions. What's the, by the way, disadvantage if you provide getter and setter? You make the access to data a little bit slower because now it's not direct, it's rather indirect. So treat it with the pinch of salt and apply those concepts to your day-to-day practice according to your common sense. And if you feel like opening data members, well, do that. By the way, very good um, thing is to just communication skills. Of course, you may, let's say, open your instance variables, you can make them vulnerable, but talk to your friends, talk to your developers who going to use your class. Provide documentation, explain what should be done with your class and what shouldn't be done. So, communication between programmers is essential, and nothing, no rules, no recipes can replace communication between humans when they working together on a project. Anyway, let's take a look now what I'm going to do in order to hide data members. I'm going to add double underscore. Look, all my um, class, um, sorry, instance variables, they not just width and height, they have double underscore before width, double underscore before height. Outline, I still don't change it because there is no point to validate, to hide outline. Any character can be an outline character. And now you see what I did. I provide getter. So getter is a method to return the width, line 31. And setter is a method to safely change the width. You see, it does the validation. You won't break your data, you won't damage your data. The same way you see a getter, let's make it the same order before setter. So let me move it. So I got a method to read the height. Look at lines 41, 42. And I got a method to set the height in a safe way with the validation. And again, look, the instance variables now have two underscores to prevent direct access to them from the outside of the class. Grow, shrink, draw methods, they still the same. They still the same, and I can test it now. So let me save the changes, and let's see now what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to instantiate rectangle in line 3. I'm trying to set up wrong value. I don't anymore have access to my instance variables. I have a setter and getter, and it should be changed. 99 should be changed to a safe value, and the same in line 6. 99,999 should be changed to the safe value. So I prevent by using setter and getter, I prevent accessing or accessing directly instance variables. It could be done through the methods. So let's run it. And what you see is this is going to be replaced by 60. And this is ignored. So let's say, my attempt to violate the rules was ignored. I am not supposed to do that. Actually, I'm not supposed to know about those instance variables with a double underscore because I'm just a user. So always keep in mind, today's discussion is discussion about two different people. Developer, of course, can see anything. There is no point for developer to hide stuff from himself. He knows everything. He sees everything. But the user of the class, yes, may be confused, may damage, and that's why what is absolutely normal and allowed to the developer of the class may be not good for the user. The class user needs to know as much as he needs to know just to do whatever task he is working on. No more, no more than that. So you developer, you create a class, you hide your data members, your instance variables, you provide getters and setters, and that's the only way for the user of the class to access instance variables. However, it may be kind of boring. Uh, Always type those set and get prefixes. Also, you have to always type parentheses, of course, when you use methods, when you call methods. So property is maybe more elegant solution for data hiding. So what we do basically, we create methods, setters and getters, but they look like instance variables. So property is a smart instance variable. For the class developer, it's still a method, it's still a getter or setter, but for the class user, it looks like just an instance variables, but it's safe. It's a smart instance variables. And let me illustrate now the use of the properties. So we are going to check now how I would, let's say, make it a little bit easier for the user of my class to access my data members. So you see, in order to create properties, you need special directive with the add character. You see, this is basically a getter, and this is a setter. So that's how you program getter as a property and setter as a property. It's precisely the same as it was, I mean the coding. However, the using of the property is a little bit easier than the using of the getter and setter. And you see the same is my getter and my setter for the height. Okay, now look, that's the advantage. Because I have now a properties, I can access them directly without get prefix, without set prefix, without parentheses. So this is how you access the getter. So whenever you assign anything, automatically getter is called and it's going to change 99 to 60. Here also the getter going to be called and it's going to validate and assign instead of minus 99, the minimal height, I think it's 3. And this is I call getter and I call another getter. So getters now look like, getters and setters, they look like just a regular variables. You can use assignment to call a setter, and you can use just a variable name to uh, access getter. So comparing to the previous version with the getter and setter, this one is shorter and maybe more elegant. However, again, the choice is absolutely yours. You can use straightforward approach. You can open your data. You can provide getters and setters. By the way, they are very popular in Java. Or you can make one more step and provide a property. Okay, so let's run the code you see on the screen. The values supposed to be validated, and when I print them, they supposed to be still. When I print them in line 6 and 7, they supposed to be still in a safe limits. Let's run it, and yes, you see it is not 99, it's 60. It's a safe maximum, and it's not minus 99, it's 3. It's a safe minimum. So we discussed today the first object-oriented concepts, very popular, explained in many books, and it is called data hiding or encapsulation. Thank you very much for watching. Please, I appreciate your likes, your comments. And next lesson, we are going to discuss another important object-oriented uh, idea related to creating new classes. We call it composition. Thank you very much. Good luck. See you soon. Bye bye.